Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday evening. It is 9 o'clock. Time for a live stream. But first, a little music. Enjoy.
We are all the heirs to Scotland, as a nation proudly stand. We will march beneath her banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let a flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. To the world we bid a welcome in 1,000 different ways. We will toast to long lost friendships as we build our better days. In the glens and cities, there on every street are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. We are all the heroes of Scotland. We're a nation hand in hand. We will march beneath her banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum.
So, hi, folks. Hope you're all doing well. Nice to see Steve here tonight, if only a short time. Now, that's good. Really good. Exile Viking, good evening. Special thanks to Exile Viking and his good lady for sending a donation. He bought a coffee, and I'm very surprised. Didn't come with any instructions, so I assume it's simply a donation to things in general, and that's always a welcome. So thanks again. Tell your good lady thank you from me. These things are they always come as a surprise, you know. I don't know, you see, if it's to join the party, to buy music, or just a donation. Ah, we have the explanation here. A wee donation towards the party. Well, appreciate that. Oh yeah, and I was going to do something which I have not done. Where is it? Ah, I was going to show you a couple of photographs. I haven't got them loaded up, and I'll just do that now. Well, it's in my mind. Where's the other one? There we go. So there we are. Good evening, Robert. Well, I'm looking forward to that as well, Toffee. I always look forward to whoever comes on for a chat. It's one of the many reasons why I like doing this, talking to people. I do like talking to people, and I like people talking to me. And it's quite a while since we've had a lady on here. Exile is telling us Leah, that's his girl, by the way, liked Greenock. I showed her the war memorial, some other period points of interest, and the geek retreat, which you will have noticed is closed, unfortunately. As I said, I don't know if you were listening the night I talked about it. What they had up, rainbow flag, and I spoke to them about it. But they took no heed of my warning. So all the publicity that I'd got for them on behalf of the tournament, the chess tournament, had brought in a lot of customers, a lot of women with their children, men with their estranged children. So business had gone up, but they wouldn't take this flag down, and I warned them about it, that they would lose business once people recognised the flag. And I think that is exactly what happened. Because slowly but surely, the women who were bringing the school children in stopped coming in. And that was a lot of business because the kids were all looking for chips and bread and butter, drinks from the machines. So it was money over the counter. But they insisted on doing things their way, so they went out of business. So that's why I'm having difficulty once more getting a venue for the chess tournament. Uh, Rory, what's this you're asking? Rory, how's the cancer treatment going? You seem to be looking a lot better than a few weeks ago. Well, thanks very much for that, Rory. I'm actually not getting any treatment. I'm not on anything. Well, I'm on what I used to be on. I'm on morphine for my arthritis hip, and I'm on blood thinners for the blood clot I've got in my leg, and that's it. That's what I'm on. I'm not on anything. Uh, but what had happened was I was told by the medical staff that because I'm a cancer patient now, that I was entitled to a bit more. Well, I don't get any social security money. I was entitled to some security money, social security cash. And they just needed me to say yes or no. So I said yes. And they did all the paperwork. And I got it. But I said to myself at the time, well, if I get this extra money, I'll use it to buy better quality food. And as a result, my weight has gone up. I've gone up, I put weight on, which of course is a good thing. And the knock-on effect of that is I no longer have a dietitian uh, advising me about food. So perhaps that's what you're looking at. And of course, because the weather is a bit better, I'm able to do a bit of exercise out the back. And that always helps, getting outside, a bit of colour in your face. Uh, but yeah, I feel okay. What you don't see, of course, is I'm easily tired. What you don't see is I can't walk very far because I'm out of breath easily because the left lung here doesn't work properly anymore and never will work properly again because this is where the cancer is. But I'm still here and I'm still functioning. And that's as much as I can expect. Well, that's an interesting idea. You could have a chess tournament for National Socialists. The problem with these ideas is, Mr. Johnson, it's like a lot of things. It's because we're all spread out, it's hard to come up with a way of overcoming the distance. What I had hoped would have happened, but didn't, is I would get the chess tournament started here in Greenock, and other party members who live in different parts of the country would be able then to follow my example and start chess tournaments in their part of the country, bringing publicity to the party. But that didn't happen either. But the big problem here in my part of the world is getting a venue. It's just almost impossible. I wouldn't object to that idea at all. But that's the problem. Well, thank you again. Oh, good evening, sir. That's for sure. That's true. You don't gain weight. KFC. I don't eat any of these things, to be honest. Never have. Never have. And to be honest, if I had my way, I would limit these places. When I say limit, I would limit the number of these places in any and every area of the country. I think they're bad for your health. King Fu. John is now eating 2 haggises a day. Rawr. I'm still working my way through them, Robert. The Ensure drinks, yeah. My dietitian got me a 30 odd month supply. And then my girl, Laura, her and Lorraine, without me knowing about it, bought me a dozen of them, the big size, at Christmas. So I don't take them every day, right? I don't. In fact, oddly enough, you asking, I had one today. I have it along with my evening meal. And when they're finished, they're finished. So that's fine. Uh, good advice. That's good advice, Doberman. And that's the other problem, of course. Very good, Toffee. The best chess player in the world is based. Strong pattern recognition. As I say, I get breathless very easily. I struggle to get up my stairwell, and I'm sure Viking remembers how steep my stairwell is. It's 18 stairs, but it's like this. I didn't know that, Toffee. I didn't know that. Another good reason not to use them. You look like a Russian anthrax icon with the halo over your head. Yeah, it's the bright light. You want to converse with Toffee? Toffee's very good when he comes on here. He doesn't swear. I know he was swearing last night because they all were, because I was lurking. Quite well aware that he swears normally. I think it's just his pattern of speech. But he certainly contains himself any time he's on here, Rory. He even stops himself from using the F word or the B word. Good evening, Terrible M. Oh, that's pretty sad, Treble M. 104? Gosh, that's something else, that is. 104? Well, she's at rest. We can say that. She's at rest, and I'm sure she's in a happier place now than she was. Well, thanks for popping in and letting us know what's going on. Sorry to hear that. 104 is quite an age. Worry about it, Treble. You need to see to family affairs, obviously. I hope you can make it on Friday because I have a lady guest on. I think you'll find that interesting. Bobby Fischer comes the answer. Yeah, I was quite taken aback with that. The amount of stories that came forward. I shouldn't have told that story, should I? You got to wear your mate's uniform to the next chess tournament. Oh gosh, I could just see the local press now. Ah, there's Julia. Thanks for the email, Julia. I found it interesting. I'll tell you what I did, Julia. I've said this before on the channel, but I don't know if anybody will read it. Well, let me show you these photographs first, okay? I've got them lined up. Uh, I was speaking to Steve on the telephone, and I know he enjoys fishing. So I was asking him, was him and his boy doing any fishing? And he said he had. And he said he would send me the photographs, right? So this is one of the photographs that he sent. This is the fish that Steve has caught, by the way. Takes a particular kind of mind, I think, to be very good at chess. So as I say, this is Steve fish. Now I'll let you see his boy's fish. This is the this is the boy's fish. What a fish, eh? Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. No, William, it's a big fish. That's his son. Yeah, it's some fish, isn't it? So this is what he sent me. It does sound like a lot of fun. Something I've never done is actually fish. Never done it. It'd be good if we could do that, wouldn't it? It's a good idea. Rory is saying, I went to the funeral of a member of my old regiment a few months ago. He served in Burma, fighting the Japanese. He was also 104 when he passed away. Wow, amazing. You're welcome, Steve. I'll take your word for it, Mr. Johnston. That sounds good, doesn't it? A National Socialist fishing camp with chess at night and pagan folk music. Sounds brilliant. My Finlay was over a bit. I bet he was. I bet he was. So there you have it, folks. It's some fish. I don't know what the fate of the fish was, whether it was taken home and cooked or not, or whether it was sent back into the ocean. But certainly one heck of a size, that's for sure. So anyway, oh, it was returned, right? Oh, that's nice. My big mate Jerry, he was a great fisherman. That's what he used to do. Send them back in. He enjoyed it. So as I say, it's something I've never done. So here is a sample. I haven't forgotten. I was going to respond to Julia Skinner's email. This is a sample booklet. This is me. If you can't see it too well, this is these are artworks that were done for me by a highly qualified specialist. I've got this to check over, make sure that then inside when you open it up, this is what you get. And then it's all words. So if you're already a party member, this is the material that was sent to you. It's now in this form. And I was originally going to have 100 of these printed up. But I was talking to Sensum about it, and I was showing him the front and the back covers, and he has very kindly offered to pay for a second run of 100, so that in total we would have 200 of these booklets. Party members will receive, obviously, personal copies. Yeah, big hand for Sansom. I did ask him, of course. He just volunteered it himself. He is indeed. He is, of course, a member of the party. So once I finish with corrections, there's a few corrections needed, and I'll order up the 200 copies. So party members, look out. Uh, the idea is, folks, so that you'll be prepared. Party members I'll talk to now is you won't get one copy. You'll have more than one. And the idea is, obviously, you keep one for yourself. And the other copies, I want you to give them out to people you think might be interested in not just the party, but the material inside the party, inside the little booklet. Ask them to read it, pass it on if they wish after they're finished with it. And here's the other thing. Uh, this is entirely up to you. You can either A, ask them to give you some cash for it, or you can give it out free of charge. And I'll leave that up to you, because you know the people that you're likely to be dealing with. And obviously, any money that you get will go right back into party funds. Viking is asking where does one find the joining form to fill up for membership? Well, there isn't one. Haven't got one yet. If you want to join, if anybody wants to join the party, I think it could be more simple than it is at present. And that is, send me an email, and what I need from you is your full name, your real name, your postal address, and £5. And you can pay that £5 through Buy Me a Coffee. You just have to let me know that that's what the money's for. That's why I was asking you, Exiled. Was that you were joining, or was it just a donation, right? But it's the same deal. So what you've already done is you put your name in that on it. That's how I knew it was you, obviously. So what you would do is subscription, and I'll know that £5 is for your subscription to the party. If I've got your name and address, then I can send you one of these booklets along with your badge. I've made it as cheaply as I can possibly make it. These badges cost more than £5. So you get the badge and you'll get a copy of the booklet, which has not all of our policies, but the more important ones. So if you do that, if you're thinking of doing that, in your email to me, let me know if you're going to pay another £5 or you want me to use the £5 that you've already sent me as your subscription money. I'll leave that entirely up to you. Well, that's the manifesto, Exile. The rest of it's in that booklet. I've got other things that aren't in that booklet, but I think we need to keep stuff back for a second booklet. And there's some things, and I've said this before to all of you, there are certain things that can never appear in a manifesto or a booklet or a leaflet. In other words, there will always be things that cannot possibly be made public until you're in power. Well, that's fine. That's fine. And we have spoken privately about other matters that you know about. So you don't, there's nothing for you to worry or concern yourself about. So there you go. I say I need to check, make sure there's nothing wrong about that, grammar wise or whatever. And then it'll be printed. Oh, that's nice, Anglo. I enjoyed the movie review on Friday. Yeah, well, there is truth in that, Doberman. Bass, good evening. Thank you very much. Everyone is complimenting me on how healthy I'm looking. Well, there's nothing more delicious than a strawberry at its peak just before it starts to go rotten. But never mind. So let me go back to Julia and her email. And get it up. The email, that is. It's not long. It's just interesting. There it is. And why have I got that here? Why I question the Holocaust, she says. And what she says is, I've been looking into the Holocaust for a couple of months. If the Zionists lie now, what else have they lied about? I've been reading letters sent by the Jews in the camps to relatives around the world. It opened my eyes, she says. Okay. And of course, she's quite right. That's true. Exile said, I especially liked your idea about HMS, Her Majesty's Prison, Endvale. I was thinking about that this afternoon. This could stick the whole SNP and Greens in there for starters. Well, one of the things that I did when my wife died, no, Rory, we don't have local elections, no. They fall at different times up here. As I said, yeah, when Helen died, my big mate Jerry, his wife had died the year before. Cancer, same as Helen. And he would say to me, John, you'll find yourself doing things and saying things that are sometimes out of character. And it was true. I found myself that way. And one of the things I did is it was one of the times I was in the Undertakers. And I can't remember, was I picking the coffin or was I delivering clothes for them to put on Helen? I can't remember. It was one of the times I was in. And I said to the man, how long does it, that's what it was. It's because Helen was getting cremated and there had never been a cremation in the family before. So I asked the question, how long will it take from start to finish? How long will it take for Helen's body to be cremated? And he said, it takes about an hour and a half. Now, I did go into the business. Is the coffin burned along with the body, or do you take the body out of the coffin? All right. So that was the end of that. And I thought no more about it. But just over a year later, it started coming back into my mind. Yes, I did, of course. Yeah, of course I did. Just as well, I did. Well, they didn't know any better, so they'd put lipstick on her. And Helen was one of these women that couldn't wear lipstick. Didn't matter what the shade was. It just didn't look right on her. And it was the same here. So I had to get her to take the lipstick off. Apart from that, they'd done their job very well. Yeah, back to my story. What am I trying to tell you? Well, what I'm trying to tell you is this. I took that figure of an hour and a half. Very good. Wait. Right. I used the hour and a half as a figure, and I simply took the facts that I knew about Auschwitz. They had 30 crematoriums. So, how many bodies could they cremate in a given period using an hour and a half as a model? Now, I'm not going to do that right now, of course. But if you want to try this for yourself, you'll find, like me, that the number they talk about couldn't possibly have been cremated in that place in a given time. Just couldn't possibly be done. It would have taken years and years to do it. And that's not accounting for that's not taking account of any breakdowns in the equipment or any gaps in the supply of fuel. When those were at Auschwitz, they were running on coke. Thanks, Jemima. Oh, tell you. So once I had done that, and I'm thinking, well, that crematorium in our town, when was it put in? When did it arrive in a town? To the best of my knowledge, it didn't arrive in a town until the 1950s. So we're talking possibly 1950s technology, and they couldn't do it if they used it. And added to that, we're not talking about 1950s technology. We're talking about 1930s technology. The word Holocaust also didn't enter the vocabulary until someone in the mid to late 50s, from what I've heard. Actually, I think it's a bit later than that, exiled. But you're quite right. It was never used. It came about. Now, that's the best way to describe it. It came about. So I'm pointing out to you, Julia, and everyone else. And you could test it for yourself if you wish. Go to an undertaker, ask them the question. They will give you an answer. Might look at you as though you're a bit odd, but you'll get your answer. And then it's just a matter of arithmetic. Multiplying, in my case, an hour and a half by 24 by 30. That's it. That's the arithmetic. 7 times for a week, 52 times for a year. So I just thought I'd let you know that, Julia. And the other thing that is highly suspicious to me, personally, that all of these camps, bar one, were in the east. Oh, it's a number we're always talking about. We're always talking about the number. And if you go to Auschwitz now, the number is down to 1 million. You're right, Budgie. And you're also correct, Robert, that it's not mentioned anywhere near enough. And why this bothers me, Holodomor, is that this was known about. Every government in Europe knew what Stalin was doing in Ukraine, because that's where it happened, if you don't happen to know. Treble M sent me material on this. I'd never heard of it. I thought I knew something about the Second World War, but I had never heard of this. And it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. Not unlike what is going on in Gaza. Terrible. Man's inhumanity to man. Jesus. Oops. They were pouring in, escaping the Mangolin hordes. German divisions saved Jews, pushing west with them. Yeah. And you're right, Robert. You're absolutely correct. That's exactly what they were expecting. And don't forget, folks, that the communists wouldn't let anybody inspect those camps. Everything had to be taken at word value. Some figures I've seen about the Holodomor is up to 10 million people. Can you imagine that? 10 million people. Jesus. It's awful. Awful. Your ex-headmaster was one of the first British Army officers to discover rebels in Bergen-Belsen. The initial thought he had came across a lunatic asylum. You got it up to 14 million. This is the figure you've seen, right? I've seen the figure I've seen in the books I've looked at and the documentaries I've seen. Not many. Not claiming to be an expert, and I'm not going to dispute that number. I'm just saying that I've heard or seen 8 to 10 million. It's just beyond imagination, really. Anglo. Streaky Baker and I butted heads last night on a stream regarding the Holodomor. He's pro-Putin. I mentioned the Holodomor to him. Up to 10 million dead. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. This was instigated by Stalin. And don't forget, we were talking about the communist regime. We're talking about mainly Stalin, but it started right away. The minute they came to power, it started with Lenin. And most of the people, not all, but most of the people at the top who were responsible for all of this were Jews. Not Russian Jews, Jews from elsewhere. Because they came Russian, excuse the pun, not intended, they came charging in from America. Changed their names, of course, as they always do. The Red Terror, it was going on from the very moment they took power. The Orthodox Christian Church got it. Intellectuals got it. Anybody left over from the aristocracy got it. And on and on and on and on it went. Oh, good evening, Woodlander. Yeah, that's where they came from, Doberman. They came from the States, the United States. What a time for me to make an entrance. John Davison, how are you? Just finished watching football and won £36. Good for you, Streaky. Well, while you're here, Woodlander, I'm going to ask you something, but don't answer me. Don't want to put you on the spot. I've been talking about a get-together, a place where we could relax, enjoy ourselves. The idea was play chess, have campfires, sing folk songs. And I thought about the land that you're involved in. So, with that in mind, I'll leave it in your head, sir, to think about. And you can let me know. It's something we were talking about tonight. shilling for Putin. I don't even know what that means. Anyway. Well, there you go, folks. You're getting an answer right away. I didn't want to put them on the spot, let them think about it. So there you go, Mr. Johnson, wherever you are. You just got the land. Yeah, I'd heard that. I'm right up for a get together. It's in Wales. It's a long way for some. Well, it's a long way for me. Well, what a time we would have. Well, the idea of a weekend woodlander had been mentioned. The idea was to have a wee chess tournament. As I say, a few cans of beer, no doubt. Campfire, obviously. And get to know one another in person. Well, this is the thing, Streaky. There is a difference. You have to make sure that people understand there is a difference. What I was trying to explain was the Bolsheviks caused the Holodomor, not Russians, as it were. Sorry for the confusion as I was trying to address three people arguing my pro-Putin stance. Yeah, this is the confusion. It was the Bolsheviks, and what he did was he took everything away from the farm folk who was the backbone and lifeblood of the country. And I took everything away from them, took all the stuff that they grew. Not only that, it took all the livestock, took all the implements that they used, took the seeds, took everything they took from them to make sure that they would die. And anyone caught with food of any kind, no matter how little, was shot. I think you don't have to know that much about it to realise that it's got, there's a huge echo here of what's happening in Gaza. I've got big bale tents. And we'll bring some deer and wild boar for a barbecue. This can be done, folks. This is the one of the many good things about having land ownership. I was keen on this from the word go because I could see what you could be done with just by having the land. The camping thing right away is the obvious one. But if there was a number of us, it could be really good. If you're serious about it, folks. I'll keep it in mind and we can follow it up and we'll see if we can put this together somehow. Because all we have to do, I think, I don't know if you agree or not, if we can do it once, we can learn the mechanism and then it can be done again and again. Oh, there you go. There you go. To be absolutely honest, the Americans that I met are they're not very well educated folks. Their their country is so vast. I know we all use these kind of words to describe the USA, but I'm telling you, folks, if you've not been there, you don't really appreciate just how bloody big it is. It's enormous. You see, bigger than enormous. It's hard to imagine. You have to be there. Yeah, well, that's it. That's it, Woodlander. It would be so cool for us to get together, talk, drink, eat, and be ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. It would do everyone a world of good. Of that, I have no doubt. Everywhere communist goes, everywhere, without exception, there's always an enormous pile of dead bodies. always. And if you look at it, just remember that not one of these so-called communist governments, regimes, if you wish, have ever been elected into power. Not one of them. They all come into power through violence, without exception. And that alone should tell you all you need to know. Yeah, Steve's quite correct, and it's always, yeah, but it'll be different this time. And I've heard this. I have actually heard this. For years I heard that. That's because true communism was tried, I would get. Or that'll be different this time. Junta. There's another word I would use, begins with B. Often, used to be often used to describe a child without father. But yeah, I'm not going to argue about that. You know that? I'm just not going to argue on that. You may well be right. Did they ever go away? Yeah, there you go. Rory's suggestion that Johnny Kay and her band could play us a few songs. Nothing wrong with that one. Yeah. Sometimes it's better to reduce everything to its simplistic form, and that's as simple as it gets. We're not all the same. It's a lie. It's it's a manipulation of language. It's very subtle and very powerful when it's used. We're all born in the same way. We're all the same. And what they mean, of course, is that we're all born of women, which is true. But that doesn't make us the same. It just means that we enter into the world in the same by the same method or cesarean section. That's it. The similarity ends there. Akelo said, "My son lives in Russia with his girl. He loves it." Yeah, and when you see cities, I mean, they're just incredible. But yeah, so obviously, folks, if any of you are serious about this getting together, then you could do it any number of ways. You can do it directly with Woodlander, or you could do it through this channel. Because all you have to really do is here's the date. Okay, doke, Steve, you got to put that boy of yours to bed. Well, you never know, Steve, you know. Perhaps this weekend that we're now discussing could slip into your own calendar. You could bring the boy. You could bring that wee fella. Because there'll be other children there, I expect. So it won't be as though he's on his own. He could bring his pal. Something for you to think about. Come up with a date, says Woodlander. Yeah. You take care now, Steve. Thanks for the photographs, by the way. It's some fish. So there you are. There's a Woodlander telling you, bring your family. So like any of you who have got children and women in your life, bring them. I don't think there'll be any restrictions on numbers. Oh, I'm sure Finlay would love it. Andy's pal. So, give it some thought, Steve. I can just imagine all those waves running about wild. I can imagine it. Just the way my own childhood used to be in some regards. Not out in the country, certainly, but running wild. You may well be right, Anglo. Judging by those photographs, says Anglo, it was Finlay who took Steve fishing. That's kids for you, isn't it? Oh, amazing. So look, folks, I'm not the outdoor type, so I'm going to leave it to those who know about the outdoors, such as Woodlander, uh, to step forward with a date or a set of dates. And we'll see. We can take it from there. I never even thought of this. The Woodlander, instead of installing temporary toilets, just simply hand out adult nappies to anyone who requires them. Sounds great to me, Woodlander. Sounds great to me. Looking forward to it already. And I know it's going to be said. I know it's going to be said. If he's still here, I don't know if he's still here, but I'm going to be asked, you going to wear that uniform of your mates? It's tricky. I'll need about four if I'm on the side or in a field. Just find a bush. I'm sure there's plenty of bushes. Ah, that's good. That cheered me up already. Scruffy. I need one of the Weatherspoons. The bogs are so far away. Well, look, I'm going to leave it up to Woodlander. And I don't mean to be unfair here, but he's somebody who kind of lives outdoor anyway. Uh, I think he's best placed at the moment to know when we might get a bit of decent weather. Wow. Rory said his brother owns a private aircraft. I should fly it from Greenock. Both Wales, she asked nicely. Wow. Leaving from Glasgow Airport. Oh, 900 hours. Linda, Midsummer Eve. I am sure I will be available to join you for the live stream. Maybe I will have a sleepover with Dawn to get into the spirit. Yeah, that would be alright if we could do that somehow. Set up some kind of live stream while we're all there. Huh. Today was the first time I left my house since last Thursday. I had a tax rebate after being skint, got drunk as fuck, fell up and sprained my ankle, hurt my ribs. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, Well, there you go. There you go. You've got a deal there. You bring the meat, Woodlander will get the old scrumpy. Oh, I tell you. Get a sedan chair to meet John at the airport. Plus a team of strong, able-bodied lads. That's it. William, if I bring my kids, they'll have to take them back. No, just leave them be. Go feral. Now I'm arriving by parachute. Well, it was a bit more historically minded when I was thinking about an airplane there, you see, if you think about it. And here he is arriving by aeroplane. I'll let you work out the connection if you can be bothered. Yeah, great to get together, it would. Bass is saying the Orthodox Christian Bishop Marmari Emmanuel in Australia has lost his eye after the attack of 2 weeks ago. Amazing. Well, that certainly cheered up the troops tonight, hasn't it? The idea of meeting up in Wales. In Wales, I've been to Wales once. Uh, Lovely people. Long time ago now, certainly. I don't expect the traditional Welsh people have changed very much. Anglo, you'll need a red beret for your parachute drop into both Wales. No, can't be wearing a red beret. Gosh, no. Oh, repro. Hello there yourself. Oh, there's ultra-nationalist. Just got here, troops. I've been keeping a low profile lately. Hope all is well. Good to see the son of Becca Stan soil is gone from part. It's gone from part of it. Uh, that's Sarwar is next. Yeah, that'll be good. Pakistan. Yeah, yeah. The downside to that is don't forget he takes a bloody good pension with him. Nice to see you back, Ultra. But anyway, I'll say again, if you put some dates together, Woodlander, send them to me at my email address, and I'll let everyone know. So if you could do that, it'd be great help. Think about it and use your experience as to when might best for the weather. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it's in that kind of region. Yeah. Well, these people are kind to themselves. Don't you worry about that. 52 is it? There you go. 52. That's for sure. That's sadly true. Failure is rewarded in politics. Ridiculous. It really is. You think about it. Most of us, even if we're doing a great job for all of our lives, wouldn't get that kind of money unless you paid for it yourself. It's outrageous. Totally bloody outrageous. What can you say? They make their own rewards. They're not like us. we don't have that privilege of setting our own pensions. Rory, any thoughts on Hamza Yusuf's resignation, and what do you think of what's going to become of the SNP? In one hand, it was right that he resigned, but if I were to put on my political hat and speak as a leader of the People's Party, I would say it's bad timing for the rest of us. For the rest of us, he should have stayed at the job to much nearer the elections up here. Because the longer he was in the job, the more screw ups he would have had and made them even more unpopular, and himself along with it. And it would have been even more certain that the SNP would have ditched him, as would have the country. But there again, he would have done a lot more damage the longer the longer he was in. So in that sense, he's better away. But I think between his and total incompetence and the corruption and criminality that seems to be going on, I think, I hope, the SNP are finished in Scotland for a long, long time. That's what I hope. The trouble is, the trouble is that the People's Party is nowhere near ready to make a challenge in Scotland or anywhere else. That's what breaks me up, which leaves the Scottish people with the usual, say, two cheeks of the same backside, as George Galloway said. And that applies to Scotland as well as it does to the rest of the UK. But we're just not in a position to make that challenge. I've never heard of that. Gosh. If I answer this properly, do I get a master's degree? Uh, can you describe an Asian Scot? It's an oxymoron to me. It's a bit of stupidity to me. Of course, there is no such a thing. Let's them try to shoehorn in the idea that Scots can be brown or black, when of course they cannot. It's just madness, it's insanity. But the whole idea of identity politics is crazy in itself. Ultra is saying something here. I think the SNP deliberately got destroyed. It was Scottish people. It was Scottish people's mechanism to break the two-party system. Nationalists need to infiltrate the SNP. I think what happened is I've got anecdotal information I can bring to this. Well, that's all it is. It's anecdotal. I'll bring it anyway. I think what happened was the minute Sturgeon got her hands on leadership, her true politics was then spread throughout the party. Because my mate that you hear me talk about, he was at Glasgow University as an undergraduate when she was there. And she was well known for her, not socialist ideas, but communist ideas. Black O'Pines, that's good with Anglo. I think that's what happened. And she surrounded herself with like-minded women. And that's the other thing that you cannot help but notice, the amount of women now. I noticed that even in the hospital, the amount of women, female doctors as opposed to male doctors, it's unbelievable how outnumbered the male doctors are. I hate the term "UScot." It's totally bullshit. Scottish is an ethnicity, not a effing label. But that doesn't stop Asians and blacks saying they're just as Scottish as you, bro, says Exile. You can say it as much as they want, but it doesn't make it true. Truth isn't made in the saying of something. I like that. Black hole base. That's clever. I like that. I'm sure that Edinburgh University has a definition of an Asian Scot. They probably also have a tartan. The wikis. You're winding us up. They already do have a tartan, says Exiled. It's the Islamic tartan. That right, Robert? Sturgeon openly hanging with the lesbians now, minus the sham wedding ring. Well, we'll see how long it takes for the newspapers to say anything about it. Here, here, Ultra. Here, here. You may find this odd, but I do feel a certain amount of sympathy for these people who genuinely think that somehow they're Scottish. I do. Their mind it must be in turmoil, trying to hold that idea together. Must be. If your dad's Scottish, you're Scottish. It's a bit more than that, of course. If my wife gave birth on holiday in Japan, that would make my kid Japanese. No, it would not. And even if the three of you stayed there, it still would make that child Japanese. My miss is born in Hong Kong. Hong Kong. I forgot about that. You're right. He did wear that damn thing. Is that what it is? Is that what you're talking about? The Islamic tartan that he. That's what he wore. Who the hell made that? Yeah, I remember that. At Kelvin Grove Museum, there's an Islamic tartan amongst the real Scottish artefacts. Hell. Yeah, I've heard that as well, Anglo. They're crazy. They don't know what they're doing here. They really should leave things well alone. She's Scottish. You cannot have an Asian Scot and an African Welsh. It makes as much sense as a mouse bird or a dog cat. Total bollocks, that's streaky. That's all it is. That's all it is, replacement. Absolutely, Robert. Absolutely. There'll never be an Islamic clan. Could there possibly be such an item? They can dream on, and we will never recognise their tartan. Absolutely. Absolutely, my friend. got it right. We need to confront these false, fake Scottish people, says Ultra. I agree, but it's how do we do it? No, the issue of tartans is it's the same organisation. It's the Lord Lord Lyon deals with heraldry. It's the same people. They control the tartans now. It may not have gone through Lord Lyon. I agree with Doberman here, what he's saying. But that's my answer, Rory. I don't think they have gone through Lord Lyon. Because as you well know, and I'm sure you do, the rules that govern such things are incredibly strict and have been laid down for hundreds of years. So I cannot imagine how they could be breached. Ultra. Japan are one of the last indigenous standing countries left. True. Shame to see them fall like the West. Doorstepping elites is the solution at the West. Ireland will be first. It's looking that way, Ultra, about Ireland. Well, it just shows you that there's something far wrong in their mind. Anglo, Sinn Féin, Brits out, Africans in. Yeah, and it is 11 o'clock. It is. Well, look, folks, that's an excellent point, Doberman. We're at 5 for 4. F them 2030. Bobby Sands died for F all, and he's right. The point he's making is right. I remember that very well, being the age I am. On the edge of your seat, wondering if the government, if Thatcher would give in, but he didn't. She didn't. And so he died. So yeah, I wonder how his family now feels. He gave the ultimate sacrifice. And dying of hunger, they say, is excruciatingly painful. I'm happy to see the Irish are finally trying something about the illegals. But the recent video, says Exiled, shows the Guardia brutally uh, towards women as well, of course. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm going to finish on this topic about children. Children are brilliant, beautiful and brilliant. A joy to have in the house. They're a joy. But the truth of the matter is, the hard truth is they cost a fortune. Everything is so expensive. So what do? My late wife Helen would have had a handful of children had she lived. But she was told not to have any more because of the difficulty of the pregnancy she had. Broke her heart. That's one factor. But the other factor is, so what I'm bringing to your attention, if you don't already know it, I'm sure you do know. You need money to bring up children. Quite apart from the fact that they're full of wants, their clothes are incredibly expensive. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more, Ultra. And that's the truth of it. You have to balance it. That's just all there is to it. You have to balance it. And they have deliberately in this country made it financially difficult for working people to have children. Deliberately. It's a policy. But these things can be reversed, like most things. But again, you need to be empowered to do it. Streaky. Kids are expensive, he says, but thanks to Libyan slave markets, you can get black ones there for less than $10. Who wants a black one? Absolutely, Angela. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. If I had my way, I'd do it through the housing, like the way it was done in the 1930s in Germany. Every couple got a wedding present of some cash from the government to start them off in their marriage. The wife gave up her job, as they did here when I was a young man. That was the way it was here when I was a young man. You got married, your wife was expecting to be pregnant well within the first year. And in fact, if your wife wasn't pregnant in that first year, you would get all sorts of jokes flung at you at work. It was such a common reality. So, yes, it can be done here the way it was done. The woman gives up her job, and on the birth of the first child, they get 25% off the cost of the house. Government pays that bump. If they have another child, they get another 25% off the cost of the house. So, in fact, if you have your 4 children, the government pays for the house. That's how it was done. But of course, propaganda twisted that, twisted that idea up. So if you listen to a documentary now, what it will say, and I'm paraphrasing, yes, young women were encouraged to marry and have as many children as possible so that Hitler could build an army. Nothing further from the bloody truth. Not to mention the millions of Germans who had died in the First World War. So, yeah, I know it's kind of sinks your heart, isn't it? It really does. But he's somebody who is interested in his people, his country. He's a proper, as Stricky is saying, a proper statesman, a proper leader. Never thought of that, Doberman. Cheap milk, fruit, veg, etc. for under 12s. Well, of course, we could, you're reminding me, we could go back to the days when I got free milk at school, like all the other children. Maggie Thatcher did away with that, if you don't know. Who are these folk? They need a white wall and a machine gun. That's what these people need. Tell you. That's what I think of them. That's what I think of the EU. No time for it. We've got no time for the UN or the World Health Organization, so called. We've got no time for any of these organizations. Ultra is saying, is it just me or did the good guy lose World War II? Never asked to you before. I like the painter. He was right. Well, Ultra, I have always been fond of painters myself. Always have been. Probably because I think of myself as something of an artist as well. The trouble is that he took too many steps too fast and didn't realize, because outside of Europe he wasn't very knowledgeable. He didn't really appreciate just how big America was. It's quite a powerhouse. Oh, it used to be. They too have deindustrialized, but back then it was a powerhouse of industry that we could only imagine. And he didn't realize, but then again, who did? What was going on secretly between, as it would be, Stalin and the US. There's a lot of shenanigans going on. But, and he did make several very bad errors. He was no godlike figure, but in terms of European politics on the day, there's much to be learned from that era, and I have said that all the time I've been on. There is much to be learned, but not everything is to be learned. Much has got to be left behind. And as Doberman says, he was of his time. But that time has passed. We have different enemies. We've got a lot of the same enemies, but we've got different ones. And some of the things, as I've spoken about before, that can't speak too openly about, cannot be tackled straight away. Some of the things need to wait. If it hadn't been of Versailles, Treaty of Versailles, there would have been a Second World War. But there again, there probably wouldn't have been a Third Reich either. But once you start down the road of what might have been, you're wasting your time, really. Well, he had a big announcement in front of Parliament today, Streaky. He had some of his election candidates behind him. As I say, he will help the rest of us. That does make you say he's one of us because he's not. But he can't help us and people like us. I don't know what this means, Exile. I don't speak German, as you know. He wears a black hat, Robert, uh, because the last time he was in Parliament, I think it was the last time, he was violently assaulted in the street, really badly. He was hospitalised, and it left him all scarred. And of course, at his age, like myself, he's lost a lot of hair. I've lost a lot of hair through chemotherapy. I never was like that before chemotherapy. That's the way I am now. Uh, well, he's in a mixed marriage, if you don't know. Nice looking girl. I think he's got, is it 4 children? Mixed marriage. Yeah, he got attacked. It was pretty bad. And of course, they never did anything about it. There was no investigation or anything. There was no attempt to get the culprits. As I say, I don't understand. Uh, it's unlikely, Doberman, that'll ever happen. They're following a different agenda, so they are. They're following an international agenda, whereas we are following a national agenda, as you well know. This is true, Anglo. This is true. He saw what the Red Army was capable of in doing. Some of the things that I know about are just curdle your blood. Had the Second World War got the other way, Ultra, certain things would have changed, but in my opinion, not very much. The language wouldn't have changed. Allegiance would have changed, of course. You would have had a certain amount of political indoctrination in schools, as it once was everywhere. We used to give an allegiance to the Queen, this country. And a lot of political control would have remained here in Britain. Ultimate political control would have went, of course, to, I expect, the New Berlin when it was finished. But it wouldn't have been as many changes as they they pretend that there would have been. Ultra, if he had won, do we think our kids would be talking? No, they wouldn't have been talking German. Transit vans and schools and half of the mafia running Western world. No, I don't think that much would have changed. I've often argued that point. No, to friends or what have you. No, I really don't. The world would have changed certainly for a certain group of people, but that was always on the cards. Doberman, he formulated a political ideology that would never die. We are Aryan nations. We die on the past, but we will prevail. I agree with that. Streaky, I didn't know this. I shall look at his channel later. This is what you hear, this nonsense all the time, that we would be speaking German. It's such a cartoon of an idea. My grandfather told me World War II could easily have gone on into the 50s if the Americans hadn't entered the war. I think your grandfather had a point, exiled. But that was the same with the First World War. If the Americans hadn't entered when they did, Germany would have won because they were on the ascent anyway. It was the Americans that changed the First World War round. Well, that's very true. The amount of money. As I told you, secretly, Ford built the largest car factory in the world in Soviet Russia, way at the back. And of course, that quickly changed from cars into tanks. Bass, not publicly, but well known, that Nazi Germany, National Socialist Germany, was provoked into war. Yeah, well, what happened actually was that Britain, those good old boys, uh, convinced Poland to stand up to the demands of Germany. And what was the demands of Germany? They wanted access to the other part of Germany that could only be accessed by going through Poland. And there was a major road and a major railway line that took you from Germany to this awkwardly placed piece. And the Polish government were doing their best to make it awkward and expensive for goods and services to pass back and forth. And there was a lot of horrible crimes being committed against German people living in Poland. Because after the First World War, the way it was all split up, there was a lot, not a lot, but there was a fair size of Germany ended up being inside Poland, more or less marooned, and they were being badly treated. But that only started when the communist government came to power in Poland. Up until that time, it was there was a good relationship between Poland and Germany because the old man, the old general who was the president, had fought the First World War. He and Adolf Hitler got on very well because of this commonality. Hitler, of course, seeing it from the bottom, and this general seeing it from a top end, but they got on very well, and there was not a problem. It's when he died the problem started. The communists came to power, and they were stirring things up at the behest of Stalin, and ultimately the British government of the day uh, guaranteed Poland that if they stood up to Germany, they would jump in and save them. And that's how the Polish government started making trouble for the Germans. And of course, when German people inside Poland started being killed and thrown off their lands or their houses and all this sort of stuff, well, what do you do? Do you stand by and let it happen, or do you try and do something about it? And that's how the whole thing started. But you only have to look at a European map and see where Poland is, even today, and see where Germany is, even today. And ask yourself, well, how the hell is Britain going to come to the aid of Poland? The only way it can do that is by going through Germany. And there are the seeds. And eventually, of course, it broke out into violence. The Germans were ordered, of course, to go into Poland and put a stop to the violence being set against the German population. And there we have it. But that, as you say, is not the story you get in books, etc., etc. I could return Scotland back to normality in 6 months, says Aldra, but it would be messy. I think there's a lot of people here tonight, Aldra, who could do the same thing. So anyway, it's time I wasn't here. I'm told the language of German is perfect for philosophy. That's why they've had so many brilliant philosophers over the history, because of the language. I can believe that. So anyway, folks, get caught up in the chat again. Anyway, I'm reading the chat. Don't forget, folks, I've got a lady guest on Friday. Look forward to that. Slightly different conversation. Who knows? I don't know anything about her, or not very much about her. So I'm looking very much to our conversation, and I hope you will all join us. Well, that's because we don't control the media, Ultra. And we are not those people. We have got a different mentality, thankfully, from those people. There's many reasons of why you're able to make that point, but it's well made. Okay, I'll take my email off. Anyway, got to drag myself out of the job. Don't forget Friday, And thanks for being here tonight. As always, appreciate that. So, I will say adios, au revoir, cheerio, and until Friday, goodbye for now. Take care. Enjoy the music.
Silently the snow falls, paints a winter scene, swiftly spreads the dark rim, hides a fading autumn green. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, conjure friendships dear to me. Lightly now the breeze flows, disturbing more than just the leaves. But life's much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow. Patiently the love grows, lifts the weary heart. Gently now she holds me,
That's the whole day,
else two worlds once apart. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, usher dreams of you and me. Softly then the breeze blows, disturbing more than just the trees.
all together now.
But love's much more
So much.
than we can know.
And we can never possibly
We are one small glow
but an important glow.
in the eternal flow. Melodies of long ago, songs of innocence, harmonies to soothe the soul, paths of consequence. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, awakening joys of you and me. Silently the snow falls, bringing winter symphony.
All together
But
now.
we're much more
So much.
than we can know.
And we can possibly
We are one small glow
but a very important glow.
in the eternal flow. But life's much more than we can know.
Maybe a look. Oh,
We are one small glow in the eternal flow.
so folks, take care. And again, thanks for being here. And I'll hopefully, the grace of God, see you all on Friday, where we will wish for a good chat. I'm sure we'll have one. PBC is a very nice person, I am told. So take care. Bye just now.